everybody. Welcome to another episode of Love Shreveport Podcast. We are excited to have one of our councilmen with us, Dr. Alan Jackson. How's it going today?
It's going pretty good. You know, it's Friday, so best day of the week.
Yes, indeed. We're so glad to have you here just to talk a little bit about you and, of course, your district and being the councilman. First of all, we just want you to tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm, native New Orleans. New Orleans is home. Shreveport is definitely what I consider home now. Been here 15 years, raising a family here. So love Shreveport. Glad to be here. I'm an educator. Full time. I work at Grambling State University in the Office of Financial Aid. So I help students finance their education. I love education. I believe it's the opportunity. Help mitigate crime. So education is something that's really, really close to me. I'm also in real estate. So helping people qualify for a home is something that I'm also very, very, passionate about. So education and real estate, I believe, are two big things that help people feel like the city they lived in is home. And so we can accomplish those two things. We can really tackle a lot.
So just out the gate, you shared a lot with us just then about you outside of being a councilman. So what do you like to do in your spare time?
So in my spare time, really just, R&R, just relaxation. My wife and I, this is actually our date night. We date every Friday. So family night is Thursday night. So I identify certain days in the week to make sure I'm giving the best of myself to all those that are important to me.
Wow, that's amazing. So as we pivot from that aspect, now we're going to councilman. What made you run for city council?
So I was actually thrown in the hot seat. I had the opportunity of being selected by Governor John Bell Edwards in an appointed role. So I was appointed for a year to be on city council when the late Councilman Fleury, when he had to leave his seat because he was moving out of the district. So after that year, I kind of enjoyed it. I was actually doing the work. People had a lot of positive things to say about the work. And so they kind of encouraged me to run. When I initially got appointed, I didn't think I was going to stay in it past a year. But after doing the work, I started doing some things that I wanted to see finished. I didn't want to push those things off on anybody else. So I ran for the seat, and the district supported me, and they elected me for another 4 years.
So you're District E.
District E.
So tell us what's great about District E.
So I always say District E is for everyone. My district is one of the few districts that is evenly divided amongst African Americans and Caucasians. So it is a mixed district. So I have to be a councilman that is able to understand everyone's needs. We have different racial needs, we have different poverty needs, but in looking at all of that, I do realize a lot of our needs are really the same. We think about it, everybody wants shelter, everybody wants to feel safe, everybody wants smooth streets to drive on. So we argue about our differences, but when we focus on what our true needs are, we really all want the same thing regardless of race.
So in that, what are you looking to accomplish in these next 4 years?
So the main thing I want to accomplish is I want to help Shreveport market itself better. When I say market itself better, a lot of times I'm getting asked to bring different businesses to Shreveport, and that is extremely hard to do if people assume Shreveport is one type of way. So Shreveport has a lot of great things to offer, but we don't have anybody selling Shreveport and talking about it's good. Everybody that has a platform, social media platform, it's unfortunate that bad news is the thing. We always think that we want to talk about the bad. When things bad happen, girl, did you hear this? Man, let me tell you this. And it's always bad. I want to do the reverse. I want anybody that loves this city to start marketing it good. And let's see those graduation pictures. Let's see that new business. Let's see those ribbon cuttings. Let's see those congratulations versus ooh. And that goes for our mainstream media. Anytime there's a shooting, and I'm not saying those things are important, but that is not who Shreveport is. So if we can't convince ourselves that Shreveport has a lot to offer, how can we convince the outside that Shreveport has to offer? So that's the major thing that I want to see, is let's market this city better.
So in that marketing, if you had a magic wand and you can wave it right now, what 3 businesses would you bring to your district?
So hoping I'm not giving away the secret, but I would love Papados. And for a lot of reasons, when we think about bringing businesses, we want something that not only Shreveport wants to support, but people outside of Shreveport. So 60% of our revenue that we use to fix infrastructures comes from sales tax. So the more things we have in Shreveport where people can invest in and spend money on, then the more revenue I have in order to fix things that so many people are complaining about.
Now, before you get to the other two,
Okay.
can you make Papa those 2 and 3 also?
We are definitely working on it. I feel like that will be a nice comparison to what we have in Bossier with Dragos. So Papa those is something that I would love see come to Shreveport. I'm not selfish. In my district will be absolutely lovely, but downtown we have a lot of different opportunities where Papa those can fit right into the city, and I believe that that presence is what we need here.
Sure. Any other 2?
So other businesses, of course. I'm still waiting on Amazon, but something like Amazon. I want something that's going to bring jobs. A lot of times we talk about, selfish things, which Papa those is one of those selfish things for me. I'm a foodie, but at the end of the day, true change is elevating our people. So our people needs to be able to have higher income, which means that we need good jobs. You think about it, we have a lot of great restaurants off Erie Drive that are closing. That simply means that we don't have enough disposable income to support these businesses. So just getting these businesses here is not just the solution. We still have to be able to raise the medium income of everybody that's working. We got to bring in jobs. The more money you have in your pocket, the more money you have to support other businesses that we're trying to attract. If Papa those were to come here and they're going to say, well, you got this restaurant, you got that restaurant. If we come, we're probably going to close this restaurant or that restaurant because they're going to be cocky. We're going to rest on our name, but I may be closing a mom and pop restaurant. I may be hurting another mainstream franchise. Ruby Tuesday has closed. Applebee's have closed. So we don't want to hurt these other franchises we have just because we're bringing the new hottest thing in. So the next thing would probably be any company that wants to bring 600 to 1,000 jobs if I had that magic wand.
Wow. So you've got some solutions. So I want to ask you, what's the challenge of our city, and how can you, or do you have a solution to those challenges?
The challenge again goes back to perception. And if I ask you, is Shreveport safe? You're going to say no. That's what you've been told. That's what you believe. When the truth is, when we actually look at the numbers, there is no random crime. I don't want to say too much about ongoing investigation, but when we start looking at our investigations, there's no really innocent bystanders. All of these individuals are targeted based on their own actions, the lives and the decisions that they're choosing to live. Coming from New Orleans, another city that's considered violent, I should tell people the same thing. If you come to New Orleans, nobody's going to be coming up trying to shoot you or trying to rob you. The crime is targeted crime. So when we start looking at the data, I don't ride around in Shreveport and don't feel safe. Now, keep in mind, I understand when you have a family member that's doing the wrong thing, you may say, look, if you're doing that, you can't live here, you can't stay here. Because when you're involved in certain lifestyles and they come looking for you, they don't care who's around. They're going to come looking for you, and then you could be a casualty of that particular person. So we have to be mindful of that. But perception has to change. We have to start letting people know what crime is, where crime comes from, what type of crime it is. District E, we hadn't had a murder this year. Recently, we've had a self-inflicted murder, but prior to that, we hadn't had any murders in our district, and I'm thankful for that.
Yeah. So if citizens want to get involved in making the city better, what will you encourage them to do?
Do they have Facebook? Do you have Twitter? Do you have any of these social media platforms? Just go back and look at it. Look at the things that you promote. Look at the things that Councilwoman Taylor had posted something dealing with our art gallery. It got 5 shares. She posted something dealing with crime. It had over 200 shares. So you got to think about the things that we're sharing. You got to think about the things that we're promoting. You got to think about the things that we're putting on the inside of us. If I keep telling you that you are a bad father, eventually you're going to start to believe it. So we all can take a step in the right direction and start changing that, and then hold people accountable. Our news media, they don't have to be offered the bad. They're going to come find the bad. But when you have something good going on, contact our news media. They love to have those stories. We need to add those stories. We need to promote those stories.
That's amazing. So as we get ready to close, why does Dr. Alan Jackson, the councilman, why do you love Shreveport so much?
Simple. My family's here. If I don't love Shreveport, who else will? If I can't make an example for the 3 boys that I'm raising, who else will? If I can't make Shreveport safer for them, who else will? So I simply love Shreveport because Shreveport is the place I call home. It's the first thing that I'm going to defend. It's the first thing I'm going to celebrate because this is where I live.
That's amazing. And how can people reach you?
So, of course, you can reach me with my council number. I keep it on me at all times, so I'm readily available via email as well, alan.jackson@shreveportla.gov. We also have an amazing team. We have an amazing liaison in Ralph Johnson. He's is always available as well. So we're not hiding. We're here ready to receive your praise, your critiques. All we're looking for is that you to partner with us for the solution.
That's
Just
awesome.
don't point the finger and say, what are you doing? Just say, hey, how can I help?
Well, man, thank you so much for this information.
Absolutely.
We're grateful that you stopped by to be on the podcast today. So
Thank you.
again, we appreciate you. And again, thank you all for tuning in to Love Shreveport Podcast. Be sure you can follow us all on social media. On Facebook, City of Shreveport Government has a blue check. It is verified. On Instagram, at Love Shreveport, blue check, it is verified. And yes, we're on Threads as well. And of course, you can follow us on Twitter at Love Shreveport 1. And then, of course, you can like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, City of Shreveport, LA. Man, we're excited. Thank you. Be sure to share this video. And again, thank you so much for tuning in to Shreveport's Love Shreveport Podcast.